Okay, as we're recording this, I think we'll get started, Kath and Deepak. I know there's a lot to cover, and I'm always worried when there's the two of you because there's always a lot of content. So we will get started. So welcome to the Helix webinar series. Today's session is on what's new in Digital Workplace 25.3. I'm joined by not one, but two of our product managers. So it's our double act again of Kath, our principal product manager, and Deepak, also our principal product manager. Before I hand over to Kath, who's going to get us started and do his introduction, just a reminder for those that are new to Zoom, you will find the Q&A section at the bottom. So if you do have any questions during the session and the demos, please put them in there. And alternatively, whoever is speaking, obviously, clearly they won't be answering the questions, but we will do the best we can to answer those as we go through. And then we will have roughly around 15 to 20 minutes at the end. Otherwise, I might step in, Kath, because I know that you'll carry on talking. We need to give the customers a little bit of a chance to speak with us. So you will remain muted. And then at the end, I'll start unmuting you so you can speak to us live. But do use the Q&A, keep it interactive. And without further ado, Kath, I'm going to hand over to you to get us started.
Thank you, Samantha. I'm not going to fight back on that discussion. I think we can. Who is talking most, you or me? But good to have you here, everybody. And of course, Deepak and I are really happy to have a new release to share with you. I must give Deepak a lot of credit for this release. I was on holiday quite a few weeks during this release, so I would say Deepak has done a lot of work on his own on this. Thank you for that, backing me up. So we'll start with a little bit of Employee Navigator, the generative AI capabilities, and then I will hand over to Deepak to talk about the catalog curator, which is also Gen AI capabilities, and some of the native DWP capabilities we have added in this release. So let's move to the next slide. In general, 25.3, I wanted to just cover very briefly the different product lines. I mean, service management, ITSM Service Collaborator, our agent for the IT support staff, has got a number of new functionalities coming out. We're not going to cover that today, but I just wanted to mention it here. We have made the Insight Finder, the agent that can generate the Helix dashboard for you through just simple human text commands. Much easier than it has been before. So take a look at that one if you haven't seen it. Service Catalog Curator, of course, that is what Deepak is going to talk about a little bit later. OpsSwarmer, another agent we have in our portfolio, and it is 4 teams that manage major incidents. So it's a collaborative approach to managing that within the Microsoft Teams. And we have now integrated Helix Knowledge Management in ITSM. So you can use, of course, Remedy Knowledge Management, but you can also use Helix Knowledge Management in ITSM if you prefer, or come around. And Helix dashboards can now reach archive data, not just the live data, but also archive data. On the employee engagement and enterprise service management side, we have the BWF Service Collaborator. It is essentially the same thing as the ITSM one, but for BWF staff. So a lot of new functions here as well. And the couple is working hard to improve that over the coming releases. We have what I'm going to talk about, Employee Navigator, a number of things. Knowledge Curator, the one that is generating knowledge. It was just generating knowledge in Helix Knowledge Management by Come Around before, but now it's generating it in the BWF Knowledge Management, or as we call it now, Innovation Suite Knowledge Management. And you can also generate knowledge articles from ITSM, not just from BWF, but from ITSM as well. And of course, you can check knowledge articles if they are good or bad in HKM, and you can fix them. We have improved the knowledge retrieval filtering. So before we had only and or. Now we have extended the logic so you can do not and other things which our customers have asked for, and Arabic support in business workflow. So a very high level description of what is in the release in general. I think that is good to know in context of what we're doing. The things we're going to show today are GA since a few weeks back, and I have this notice about that we talk about things that we don't want you to mention to others. The GA stuff is, of course, there, ready to use, and you can read about it in our documentation. But when you ask questions, we might reveal things that we don't want you to talk about the future. And when we talk future, it might be plans, and plans change, that we know. So some things might not come in the next release, but it's coming the release after, or not at all. That happens as well. But mostly the things we mention here are going to come, even if it's future things. So the first thing we have done is the live chat handover in the prompt-based approach. If you know, we have kind of a second generation of our generative AI stuff, the agentic AI version, where there is an autonomous agent behind the scene, and it's called Employee Navigator, of course. So we have also migrated from the old Helix virtual agent, the Watson-based chatbot UI, into the Employee Navigator UI in DWP. And now we didn't finish fully the live chat handover. So it is, if you're using the chain prompt approach, it works. The agentic thing is coming in 25.4. We are just testing that out now. So this is a fallback option, one of the fallback options, and the other one is to raise a service request. And when are you doing fallback? It is when the agent cannot help you. You might want to talk to a human immediately through live chat or raise a request. So you are not left alone. You will always have an option to get help. Showing the requests, we had that before. What we did now was to change the formatting a little bit, because before we had links underneath and they didn't have any numbers. It's a little bit hard to use. So we have now moved them in context of the table. So you see the number, it has a link you can click, and then you have a number of columns. So much easier to use, and logical design of the UI, I would say. In many cases, when you talk to a support agent, they might not use the request ID, but they might use the incident ID or work order ID or a case number when they talk to you. And because of that, you can also look up your requests, even if you use the incident number, work order number, and so on. So it's helping you to communicate with the agents if they don't give you the request number. You can show comments now. So if you have comments, you can ask the chatbot to show the comments. You couldn't do that before. So that's pretty nice. And you can summarize them. You can ask the chatbot if you have, let's say you have a dialogue for 10, 15 interactions, or maybe 25. You might want a summary, and you can then ask it to summarize it. You can ask for the last one, and so on. So very interactive with the requests. And you can also update them. So you can add a comment to request. No problem. And if you're if you have the voice to text, you can even talk to it, and it's gonna update using that text string you enter through voice. Approvals, you can approve, reject, hold, and so on the approvals. So no limitations there. You can do the same things you do in the graphical UI DWP. You can do here as well with the approvals. And on the Helix GPT platform side, we have now renamed what was called Helix GPT Manager into Helix GPT Agent Studio. And you have a tab for skills, you have a tab for agents, you have a tab for tools, just to support the agentic AI paradigm much better. So I'll think this was the last part of my discussion. So let me quickly switch to another screen and show you some of this, what we have been talking about here. So I mentioned show my requests. And when you do that, you get that table and you get the links in the table. You see it's nicely formatted like this. And you can see the different status that you have on them. So we have it available here, and you can then ask about, let's see what we say, show comments on 620, this one. You see there are a number of them asking about it. You can say summarize the comments. You see it's nicely summing this thing up. So let's say you have an old ticket and you want to know how did it really get resolved. You could ask that, or you could ask it to summarize and see all the discussions. You don't really need to read all of them. Which is pretty good. Or if you want to know the status, you can maybe say show the latest comment, which is what did it was any update. Yeah, that was the last question. So like that. Okay. And you can also say add a comment to 620, and then you can say something like now I really want this to be done. Something like that. So you see it's saying now if I say show the last comment. Nice. So if I click here, I'll be taken to this one, and you can see the comments down here. Okay. Next thing I wanted to show you is the approvals. So I need to go to another user on another screen. So here, show my approvals. Oops, I need to sign in again. And it is Bob Baxter. I need to log in as. So, okay, I had a predefined prompt in here. This is actually, it's quite good to do this now. This is what the Employee Navigator agent can do right now. So the first list here is view requests, view approvals, view appointments, view tools, cancel requests, add comments, attachments, view comments, summarize comments, view service health, search catalog services, and view profiles of people. So this is the capability breakdown that you have in the agent. And because it is agentic AI, we do it through tools. So here is the list of tools available, and they are, of course, backing up these commands. So when I ask the agent something, it is trying to understand my intent, and then it is autonomously by itself. It is looking at the tools and which tools it should be using to respond to my ask, and that's the tools. And what data the tools have access to is here in this table. I think I showed this last time eventually, but it's good to see what we have in there. Okay, a little bit sidetrack. What I wanted to do now was show my approvals. Back to the approvals. So similarly to the requests, we now have the approvals. You can list them, you can click on them, and you can either do it here in the GUI, or you can you see here that you can put a request on hold, for example, change approval 62782 to on hold. Should work. So now if we waiting for approval, so it might take a few seconds before it goes there. Oh no, it's asking. I didn't see that. I am not ready to approve yet. Need a couple more days. So now you see it's on hold. Okay. Great. What else? I have one more demo I wanted to do before we hand over to Deepak. Where is my here? And here. So here is a user called Felix the cat, or Felix cat, and here is another guy called Irvin Allen, And this is the customer or the end user, and this is the support person watching the live chat queue. And as you can see, there is nothing in the queue right now, but he is available. So if something is coming in, it should show up here. And I wanted to show you how that fallback capability works. So if I say DB2, which is a mainframe database, and as you know, we split up BMC into companies, BMC Software, which is working on mainframes, and we are called BMC Helix. Same thing as before. Let's do it again. Took too long from I set this up until we came here. DB2. So of course, we're not bothering with DB2 mainframes anymore. So that's why we don't have information here. But then I'm not alone, because I can call live chat agent, or I can raise a service request. Let's try to call the live agent and see what happens. And I only said DB2. It's very, very, very vague what I mean. So when will I get my DB2 instance? Oh. So that is what I want to talk to the live agent about. And here, this you can set up, you can configure this, but in this case, you select where you want to go. So there is a DB2 queue. So let's use that one, because that's where Irvin is working. So now it has opened the session here, and you can see it's in here. And when I click on that one, and that's also needed to sign in again. And now you can see the chat here, and you can see I can follow the chat here that I did before. When will I get my DB2 instance? That is what I typed here. And down here, you can see a summary of the chat. So it's taking what I have done here before, and it's giving it to the guy here as a summary. And when I accept, I can then chat with Felix. Hi, Felix. Meow. Not meow, but this guy is I don't know what do cats say in English. That's what we say in Swedish. Meow. Okay, so that was the live chat option. If we instead do the same thing again, it is not going to find anything, of course, but I can now raise a service request instead. And like before, it will ask me to, what do you want to do? I need a DB2 instance. They ordered a DB2 instance 3 weeks ago, and it seems to have gone into a black hole because I get no responses or status Dates. Why is that? So something like this, and yes, it was thinking I was asking for something new here, so that's why it digressed. It thought I digressed. So I have ordered an instance 2 weeks back. So now if I say yes, it will submit. And you see it submitted, and if I click here, I can see the request in the GUI if I want, but I can also see it, of course, in the chat. And what I wanted to show you here is it is automatically, when we fall back, we get the summary again. Felix Cat requested to raise a service request for DP2 instance, mentioning that they ordered the instance 2 weeks back, but have not received any response and status updates. For more details, please refer to the transcript. So you get the summary, but you also get the whole transcript, everything. And you see it's capturing all the things I did. And this is also transferred to the support staff at the backend. So that's all I plan to demo. I'll hand it over to Deepak now. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Gav. Thanks for the great demo.
Thank you for all the thumbs up. Appreciate it, and clapping hands. So are you taking over the screen?
Can you stop presenting? It doesn't allow me to.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. So we are done with the Employee Navigator demo. Great demo, Gav. Thank you so much. I'll move forward. I hope you can see the slides. It's talking about Catalog Curator now.
Yes. Yep, we're good.
Awesome. All right. So in this section, I'll be talking about what we have done for our other agent, that's Catalog Curator, and then we'll subsequently go to the enhancements that we have done on the DWP side and DWP catalog side. So from the Catalog Curator agent, which we introduced in 25.2 release, we have had more additions into it. Again, these are more incremental update because the agent just got released, and then we are still seeing adoption going up, and people reaching out, customers reaching out, querying how to use it, and then there are certain feedbacks. So this was more incremental, and I would highly appreciate if you already have Helix GPT licenses, you start using this. We have also simplified how to enable this in this release. It's just going to be like a single toggle. You just turn it on as long as you have the LLM key defined. Everything is preset. It's just that you have to turn a setting toggle on, and then again, it's used for the administrator. So there is definitely quick time to value really for this agent, right? And then you can just quickly do hands-on as compared to the other agents where you have to really enable, train it, put a lot of guardrails. This is directly for administrators. So quick time to value, and I'd really appreciate if you guys start using it and provide feedback. We are doing a lot of things about it, for this in the upcoming releases. So you'll keep hearing more and more about enhancements on Catalog Curator. So in the previous release, we had support, like you had support for the group and the individual approvals, but there was no way LLM could basically set it in the backend, record that it is creating for the approval mappings. What we have done in this release, you can say, I want to map it to manager approval, which you already have seen in the previous demos. Now you can say, I want to, put individual approval, and can provide a login ID of an individual who should be approving this request. Or you can also say, change it to a group approval, and you can provide like a group ID. and then it's going to basically get mapped to the approval process automatically. When next time somebody submits this request, it's going to automatically pick up the support group ID or the individual login ID. So basically now you can specify through chat whether you want manager approval for a service when creating it, whether you want individual approval or the group approval directly through the chat before creating the service. Then we have provided support for the regular expression, regex building in the questionnaire. Now you don't have to really do the guesswork of regex building. You can just provide instructions to LLM and to the agent, and you can say, hey, I want to introduce a new question, like for example, let's say email address or a phone number, and I want you to add a regular expression validator in that automatically. So you don't need to really learn anything about that. You can just create like a regular expression and add it to all of those question type wherever we support the regular expressions. It provides you more precise answers and then, not letting users fail by providing a wrong response to these kind of questions. The major enhancement that we have done, you must have seen me demoing last time in 25 to release that every time I had an update, I was asking for, incremental updates in the chat where I was like probably either adding a translation or adding more questions or modifying approvals. Entire screen would load, and we have seen, after 2 or 3 attempts, sometimes LLM was even overriding what you were asking it for, really. So let's assume you changed something in step one, it stayed there in your history until 2 times, and third time when you ask for another update, it was wiped out. So in order to avoid that, to maintain the state, we are going only for the incremental update. So let's assume you are only asking for a change in a question or addition of a question. It's not going to completely load the entire catalog chat, the one which already prepared before. It's only going to show you the section that will be impacted by this update. So in this case, you can see that I added a question for called employee ID, and then it only rendered the questionnaire section, thus keeping your previous changes intact as well as only providing you meaning delta information on the screen. So you don't really need to be worried about reading through the entire area. And it is intelligent enough to really understand what areas will be impacted, and it will automatically pick up and show you those. So it basically takes out the guesswork from your work. You only know that this change is going to impact these particular areas of a catalog creation, and then it basically shows you while you're creating the catalog items. Then we have introduced, those of you who use pages, we have introduced better readability and enhanced display of the questionnaire. So by default, if you don't mention, it's going to categorize your questions into different pages, but through its intelligence. You can also tell it not to do it, and it's going to remove the pages automatically. So you can also add questions. You can also add different pages directly from the interaction. You can say, hey, add another page, which is going to be confirmation and acknowledgement, right? So it's going to automatically understand that I need to add a page in the DWP questionnaire. And then you can keep adding questions into it and say, I need to add 2 questions into the confirmation and acknowledgement page. It's automatically going to understand that it needs to put the questionnaire in under that particular page title. You can move stuff around. You can say move all these questions into this page title. So whatever you could do with drag and drop UI, now you would be able to chat with it and be able to move it while creating the service. So basically you don't have to really create a service in order to do all of this. Chat with it. When you're happy, you just commit to it, and then it goes into your catalog. Then if you need to further and tune it, you have the catalog UI interface where you can drag and drop stuff and move things around. So I'll cover the slides. We'll go into the demo. So we've been talking a lot about notification engine, and most of our templates, the Converge notification engine, the new notification engine on Helix platform is out for quite a lot of time. And then you have seen already us providing approvals, survey, requests, notification, collaboration. So all of these are listed here really along with the release number, starting from bottom to top. So in last 2 releases, we had appointment, service, health, and now in this release, in 25.3, we are introducing social post. So if you are using social post, you will automatically have an upgrade available where these new templates and new events are automatically added into your notification process. Okay, so you don't need to really do anything. Moment you upgrade, it's automatically gonna be available to you. And with this, there's only one notification category, template category that's left. That's for the external users, external portal. And soon we will have that done as well. And then, you can just personalize it, brand it, whatever you want to do. You can customize it, localize it. Everything is available. So, this it provides you quite a lot of flexibility. Next, we have a smart action on question responses. So we in DWP questionnaire, you had no way for doing string operation, math operations, or date and time, date operations really on the question responses on the interface on the UI when the user was answering those questions, right? So let's assume if you had to really concatenate 5 fields and show it to the end user in one single response, right? You never had that capability. You had to always do all of this on the server side when this request was submitted, right? And then you had no way really to stop once it is submitted because it's gone to the server and the request is submitted. So at times you had to really ask your users to cancel the request and resubmit the request. Now with this, you will be able to apply all these operations on your user questions while the user is answering those questions. So that includes all like math operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Plus, you will have string operations like concatenation, lower, upper, replace, substrings, length, all of this what you see on the screen. On the date and date time fields, you will be able to have date, add date difference, year, whatever you see on the screen is all available. It is also intelligent enough to really understand a type of field and provide you only operations according to that data type. Okay, so that's automatically taken care. Plus, for fields, free text field where you have more, you can do more than one operation. Everything is a string. You would like to concatenate, you would like to do addition, division, multiplication. It also provides you all of that. And I'll show you an example that you can have nested operations. You can have a concatenation. You can you can bring in date inside that. You can do multiplication, division inside that, and create one single response. And I'll give you a quick example of that. Okay, in a minute. All right, so that ways you have more refined data. You can stop user from submitting the request if that's not acceptable. I think it also goes back to some of you asking me that, hey, I need a way to stop request submission if the condition is not met. So maybe with this you will be able to stop, but we'll still have to work on building something where you can define condition to stop request from submission. But this is a first step, in my opinion, along with the external process validation that we already released, several releases back, that you can validate data through Innovation Suite. Now we'll go to the demo, and there is one more feature which I have not prepared a slide that was released in patch 1, 25 to patch 1. I want to show you that as well because we never got an opportunity to chat with you all or show you the demo of the patch releases. Okay, that was a major enhancement, and I don't want it to be gone like this, right? All right, so we started slides with catalog curator. So let's talk about the catalog curator agent. Okay, now there were 3 steps. If you have gone through my webinar, and in the subsequent slides Sam has given you the step, the content for previous webinar that also includes the catalog curator webinar. Here, there were 3 steps really to enable it. Now they all have become optional. So our installation DevOps pipeline will automatically take care of installation of all of those, configuring that. You don't have to do anything as a customer. Only thing you need to do is have your LLM set. Okay, once you have your LLM set, you put the LLM key to the catalog curator, and I can just quickly show you. That's the only thing that you need to do as an organization. So you have Agent Studio here. Let's quickly look at the deployed application. Okay. Here you have Digital Workplace, and you have Catalog Curator. Oh, sorry. Um, sorry, digital Workplace Catalog, and you have Catalog Curator, right? So skill is already there. All you got to do is just select your model. So once you have your model defined, your provider defined, once you get that configured, just set it here. And after that, your administrators can turn this on. right? So there is a new setting available called Service Catalog Curator, toggle on, off. Based on that, it will be made available inside the inside the catalog, DWP catalog. So it's that simple, really. We'll make it more extendable so that you can give it to subcatalog admins and business analysts outside DWP, right? Because I'm working with a lot of customers on design partnership on that part, but that's for future. Right now, this single toggle for administrators to enable disable this agent. So, and then you have quick time to value. They can just start using it. If you don't like it, you stop using it, right? As simple as that. So now I'll just quickly show you some examples of enhancements that we have done. So let's go ahead with a simple prompt that I need, I really need to create like a facilities, service for creating facilities issue. And then I need work order as the fulfillment type. Okay. So it's just going to go and create like a service for me. It's using its own intelligence. So everything like what you have seen before, profile, excerpt, description, parameters, right? They're all automatically generated. It's a generic workflow that's created. Work order is the fulfillment. There is no approval. Questionnaire is automatically created. Now, this is the first thing that I told you. You have page titles. These questions will be in that page title automatically. You have page title. You have questions inside that automatically. Page title and question inside that automatically. Now I can, because you just saw, I said no approval. There is no approval right here. None approval. I can just simply chat with it and say, hey, I want to add an individual approver, and approver should be Dirudra login ID. So this is the second part which I just talked to you, all of you about, that it will only gonna show you the section that's impacted by this change, thus maintaining everything that you have done before, keeping that into the history in its memory, and it's not gonna change. So let's say if you added another question before, it's not gonna drop that, it's only gonna update this particular section. Okay. Now let's do something more which impacts many more sections. So now I'm gonna say, can you please localize this to Spanish locale? Okay. Now the expectation is every section that's can be translated now gonna show up. So you can see it has got Spanish, Spanish here, profile, workflow. It's gonna keep workflow because it's part of that. But now questionnaire, you can see English came up because it's another section which is impacted by that. It's automatically gonna show you all the sections which are impacted by this change. Okay. Perfect so far with me. And then, as I said, if you have like another service where you want to add email, you can say add email address and add a regular expression to validate. So the question will be added automatically, and then you'll have a regex added into it. So you just say looks good and you just create it, right? So, and then it's automatically going to create the service for you. Okay. We'll come back to this. This was all about Catalog Curator really in this release. The enhancement, much more to come really, in the subsequent releases. So even while I was talking, the service was created, right? Yeah, this is service that's created. So you see a date here, this timestamp here. This is because this is another fix we have done, kind of fix. There was already a facilities issue reporting service here. So now you were creating another one. It used to fail abruptly, telling you that there is an existing workflow. I cannot generate that. Now it's going to actually timestamp this. So if it was not existing, it's going to create a blank service with like this without an ID. But now it's not going to fail you. It's going to create something for you with the current timestamp. You can just delete it if you don't want, along with the workflow, right? So that's it's so simple, really. Okay, so that was all about Catalog Curator. I'm very excited as CAF is really about all of our agentic AI. You're gonna see quite a lot of things coming up. I can't disclose all of that right now, but quite a lot. We both are very excited to have this agentic journey. You will see workflow development, you will see editing of the existing services, translation, survey creation, so many things. It's all in the pipeline. All right, now let's move to the next part that we talked about, the smart actions on the question. Okay, so now let's first show you guys an example. So what I created like a hotel. Again, it is an IT system, but I just wanted to show you. Let's consider it as a refund request, right? So I call somebody and say, hey, I have a, like a check and I had issues with your service. I want a refund. Okay. I want to show you what it can do. So I am on the call with that person. I say, hey, give me the receipt number. So 1234 is the receipt number. It does the external lookup. It's not new, but you can just do the lookup from third party systems. So I'm just getting the transaction details. I'm getting the check amount, $100, gratuity amount given of $10, max refund allowed of 90 because my gratuity is already that. $100 was my overall bill. This is dynamic. This is calculated from the data. Okay, so I say max allowed. So my agent knows that should not go beyond 90. So I mean, I didn't have time really to do other things, but I could have said, let's say if I put 110 here, then I can add another process which validates and say, hey, this is greater than 90, and I throw an error and stop the user from submitting the request, right? Or give a meaningful information. I didn't have time, honestly, to do that today, but you can do all of that. So this is one example, and I'll show you how this calculation is done. So let's assume I agreed with that person to give that person a $30 refund, and I go next. Now this has already got my, it's like getting the customer details and acknowledgement. So I know his billing address was this, and this is the person, and I am asked by my organization to read this statement before we conclude the call. So I say, Mr. Alan Albrook, based on our discussion regarding the refund of $30 for your receipt number 1234 dated XYZ, do you agree the refund amount and agree to be refunded back to your original mode of payment? Now, as you can see, this entire message is created with a constructed through lots of nested data that I already obtained from there, right? From the previous questions. And the person agrees, we submit the request, right? The request is gone. So you could do a lot of these things with this particular feature. Now I'm going to show you how this feature really works. So you go into the questionnaire, and then you have refund request. Here I have the max refund allowed, and here I have the math operation. So it's intelligent enough to really to understand what can I do in this type of particular field. So I did total check amount minus gratuity, and that's the amount that you guys just saw in the previous example. And then I have another one where I said, I need to create like a response. So agreement, as you can see, it's blank. Agreement is generated through this entire interaction. I could do anything honestly with this. I can, like put all the math operations. I could do all nested operations of string, date, and everything, but this is just an example. So I'm doing concatenate string, full name, new line. So that's what you saw in my request. I had, dear Mr. Alan Albrook, new line, based on our XYZ, this is your refund amount. That's a question. From your recent receipt number is a value, dated, and then date was a date time field. If you observed it, it has seconds, minute, and everything. I actually concatenated. I got from the transaction date. I just got the date field, and I just have a text which say you agree to this, yes or no. So sky is the limit, really. You have option that you can have question responses. You can have now free text. You have new line. You can insert an argument after that. You can insert argument before this. You can remove an argument. You can add another operation. So I can add another operation here, replace string length, all of that. So I would definitely recommend you guys try it out. And I can already see the reactions. I think everybody's loving this. So thank you so much. This means quite a lot for us. All right. So this was about this feature. And then we'll move on to another feature now, which was released in patch 1. So if you are on patch 1, 25.2 patch 1, it's already available, but I really wanted to show you all about that feature. It's for asking additional clarification on approvals in a systematic way. So right now, I won't raise a request. Let's assume there is already a request because in interest of time. Yeah, let's do that because I already have an approval here. So let's raise a request for guest Wi-Fi access for this guy Liam, and I'm gonna do it for Houston office. Then I'm gonna quickly just select from 25th until 29th and submit, right? So it's gonna go to my manager. In this case, my manager is this person's manager is Deepak. That's my another ID. So you can see it is waiting approval 2690. Deepak waiting approval, and this is Deepak's account. Okay. Now 2690, as the approver, I have new feature available: approve, reject, hold, reassign. I have something new called request additional approval details. Now what I can do, it's gonna ask for additional approval. I say I need their legal IDs. Please send it to me. Okay. And I can also attach anything and I can send it to the requester. So once I submit, this message is gone. Okay. Now, uh, as the end user, you will basically receive an in-app notification and email notification that an approval justification is needed. More information on your approval is really needed. So now you will start seeing that the status of the approval is changed. You will see more information needed. Plus you will have an in-app notification, this notification, plus one on the email that additional approval was needed. Now this person has to provide more information. So when this person clicks on it, you have a chain set up. Now you have to reply on it. So this person can say sending it now and can attach it, right? I'm not attaching it right now, and you submit it back. Now on the approver side, now you close it, you see the status is changed back to waiting approval. So the status is now back to the approver to really approve. So this is approver's screen. And during all of this interaction, you will have emails back and forth and in-app notification. This person will say, see now, this person had responded to me, sending it now, and there will be attachments that are available here that you can view. Now you are happy, you can just approve it, and it's now approved. So this is one of that feature that we introduced in a patch release. We didn't go it in a full-blown in a big release because we wanted it to be out earlier, but now you guys can use it in your system. What else? What else am I missing? I've already shown you the notification templates, that will be made available to you. But I think I'm pretty much done here, really, on my side.
We have a few questions, and I think we need a little bit more clarification around them before
Yeah, if we can go straight to the questions, and this plug that we've got on the screen right now is just simply to say that we're coming to the next roadshow, which is Stockholm. CAF's going to be there, so if you are based in EMEA or you're getting yourself to Stockholm, the day before is going to be run as a user group. It's pretty much all day. I know he would love to meet some of you in person, and then if you are based in America, then we've got the New York one that's coming up in November. So just looking at the questions, and I know we probably will go for a few minutes over, so if you can stay a little bit longer. Let's take Pravin's question. He was asking about, is there currently validation option to check against constant for a question? If wrong, it will pop up an error. Is it possible to validate against already answered question? So I don't know if you can answer that, Deepak. And I'll unmute him. Yeah, take a few.
For a question, if wrong, it will pop up an error. Is it possible to validate against? I just showed you, you will have to, if you have a validation, if you have inside a nested condition, you can validate it and you can throw the error message. Though I know there are certain restrictions in the conditional branch that you cannot really show that. So in that case, you'll have to really use the external process, right? The Innovation Suite process. You will have to send the responses to Innovation Suite. They will get compared and you can just send a response back as an error message. Really, if it passed, then nothing happens really, because it's acted as, the response was accepted. So this is the feature that I just showed you is more specific to doing the operations on the data. Using that data operation, you can generate a value that you can either validate using existing functionalities that we have in the product, or you can use Innovation Suite process to validate it in IS and return back a response. So try it out. I have, as I explained previously, in BMC IT, we have guest portal where we can go and reset our multi-factor authentication, unlock our accounts. That actually sends us the one-time password through Twilio on our registered phone numbers. And then I enter the password. I send that password over to Twilio to validate whether that one-time password was correct or not. And then I can throw an error and stop user. So it can be done. I have examples. Maybe in some webinar, I'll probably bring that up, maybe in the guest portal scenario, when I do the next webinar, I'll show you guys, but I'll show you the power of that.
Thank you. And then the next question was, what is the use of chatbot messages under cognitive and chat in IS, and how can we utilize them?
I'm not sure. Kef,
Wasn't
do you
sure what
wanna?
this question was
Yeah.
really about. What is the use of chatbot messages under cognitive and chat in IS? That sounds more like the old Watson thing. When you say chatbot messages, is that the welcome message maybe that you're talking about? Do you want to come online and talk to us?
I don't know who it is.
Just
Yeah,
you're anonymous, but if you tell us who you are, we can maybe unmute you.
just going through everyone. They may have asked the next question that's following on.
Mm.
Oh, is that Philippe? Is it yourself that asked the question? I just saw you come off mute. Okay. Maybe not. Maybe we'll get some more information. Whoever did ask that question, if you can just come back to us. And then, Kath, there's another very long question. It might be better that you just
Yeah,
take a read on
I'll
that one.
explain it. I'll
Yeah,
explain it,
please.
Kef. I think this is about the service actions that you are able to associate the service CI automatically through chat. So the end user is answering and they say, hey, I have issue with my laptop, and system understand, hey, are you talking about a Dell laptop that's associated to you? So, and it's about the chat. So from DWP UI, we can do that. The question is through Employee Navigator, are we able to do that really at this moment? So answer is really the service actions, and then the setting up of the default values. I'm guessing that's not completely supported, right, CAF, at the moment, through Employee Navigator, setting the default values and
No, the
setting it through service
actions
actions.
are not supported in the UI right now, so we can't really do it. We need to wait until we have a UI that handles that. So we'll work on that. Definitely, it is coming, but I can't say it's not coming in 25.4, but maybe I can get into 26.1.
Yeah. And on DWP UI, you can already do that from forms. It's all about really Employee Navigator. We are working on that at the moment.
Okay, and then we had another question related to Helix platform. So not on the Helix platform yet. Would the DWP chatbot need an administrative team for tweaks and some sort of maintenance, or is it flying autonomously once configured and published? Just a general question, generally speaking.
I'm responding at the same time. Not okay. So the Employee Navigator has got two versions in it. One is based on chained prompts, which is the first version we did, and we ship it with a lot of out-of-the-box capabilities. If you wanted to if you want to be able to raise requests through the chat, you need a little bit of activity to create those prompts. If you are going to the agentic approach, we are in 25.4 going to be completely agentic. So if you ask it to do something, it will look in the catalog and it will ask the questions to be able to raise the request for you. So of course, there is always maintenance in a system like this, and you will have users asking questions you didn't foresee, and if there is no knowledge behind the scene, if there is no catalog item or automation behind the scene, it cannot do it. So you need to track what's going on in the system, and you need to, of course, improve it over time. So but it's much easier than if you were doing IBM Watson that we had before. There you had to define exactly what happens in every interaction. It's much easier now. The agent is very intelligent.
Okay, and then the next question we've got from Pradeep is upcoming releases, any feature available for viewing all pending approvals at one place section in DWP portal?
So you have most of it already available. That includes change case approval, right? And you have the release approval, business, the knowledge articles. Then you have the custom application that's built on IIS and integrated through approval engine. Um, there could be more complexity that's available inside Approval Central, but the point is really, do we want to really replace Approval Central? That's more comprehensive. That's really created for all of this. We are including, supporting functionalities that we have there, but do we really need to replace that product, or do we really need to get it, to work in cohesion really with the digital workplace? Is the answer. So we have no plans really to build a parallel Approval Central in digital workplace, but as you can see, we are already introducing more and more features that avoid you to really go to the Approval Central and do the stuff. Like for example, this need more information for approval, right? Never existed before in digital workplace. So if there are any pressing use cases that still leads you to go to the Approval Central, you can just raise an idea or send an email to me and Carl Anders, and we'll figure it out and see how can we address it.
Thank you, Deepak. And I think we've got time. We've gone a few minutes over, but there was one more question that came in from Jonas. When might 25.3 be available for us on-prem users? And I think, Kathy, you were just replying to it. Do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I can do it verbally. I saw the first release candidate coming out last week, and plan is to release it in August. It's called 25.3 patch 1. So hopefully we'll see it in a week or two, and then we can upgrade to 25.3. So let's keep in touch. We need to continue the work we started, Jonas, before summer.
Great. And then one final one that's come in, and then we'll close today. So I think it's more
GPT-5
of
versus GPT-4. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have started testing GPT-5. We had to do a couple of changes in the code because they changed the API between GPT-4 and GPT-5. So I can't tell exactly what the difference is, but the plan is GPT-5 is going to be certified for use together with 25.4. And if it is, there are a lot of discussions around GPT-5. Is it better or not? And we need to test it internally before we can say if it works well with us. But our intention is GPT-5 is the number one model for 25.4. If we can't get it to work in 25.4, we'll do it for 26.1. But hopefully, I mean, the experience so far, when you get the newer model, you actually get more functionality and it's working better. But we have GPT-4.1 as a fallback. That is working. We have tested that already with 25.4 code, and that's what we're doing. We're testing Google's Gemini 2.5 Flash. That is also working. A bit more work on Gemini, but it's working fine with Gemini as well.
Yeah, and just a one more addition to what Kaf said. With Catalog Curator also, Gemini 2.5 will be supported. So GPT-4X and Gemini 2.5 is all supported starting this release.
Yeah.